Hello and welcome. In this video, we will learn about arrays. Alright? Up until now, we have been using variables to store single value like this. For example, here age is a variable which is storing a single value 18 in it. Now, arrays are used to store multiple values in a single variable. Okay, many a times we will be having a lot of data, a lot of values. So it will not be practical to create multiple variables to store single values. So what we do is we make use of arrays wherein we can store multiple values inside a single variable. Okay, so let me declare an array and explain you how to do it. Okay, to declare an array, first we have to define the variable type. Just like we have mentioned int here, we have to tell what kind of values we will be storing in that particular array. So here let me say int. Okay, int, and then we have to mention the name of the array, just like we have mentioned the name of the variable here. So I will say ages. Okay, ages plural, followed by square bracket. So when we do this, when we put the square brackets, C++ will come to know that this is an array and it will be having multiple values. Okay, now here inside the square brackets we have to specify the number of elements or values it will be storing. Okay, for example, here in this case let me say 5. Alright, now we will be assigning values using is equal to symbol, just like this, and the values should be written inside curly braces. Okay, inside curly braces and separated by commas. So here let me say 18, 6, 9, 11 and 3. Okay, so these are the 5 values that are stored in this particular variable. Okay, so this variable is an array, which has 5 values. Okay, so we have now declared a variable ages that holds an array of 5 integer values. Okay, integer values. All right, so this is done. Now an array will not be useful if we cannot access the values from it. Correct? So we must be able to access values that are stored in this array. To access the values, we make use of something called as index number. Okay? Index number starts from 0. The first element in the array will be having index number 0, meaning 18 will be having index number 0, 6 will be having index number 1, 9 will be having index number 2, 11 will be having index number 3 and so on. Or in other words, the index number starts from 0 and keeps on increasing by the value of 1. Alright, so now if I want to print the value 6, it is in second position. Second position has index number 1. So what we need to do is mention the name of the variable, and in square brackets we have to mention the index number. Okay, 1 meaning we want to access this. if we want to print this out or if we want to access this, then index number would be 0. Okay, so I will end it here and I will run this to get result of 6. Okay, result of 6. If I want to access this, then this would be 0. Okay, if I want to access this, it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is at 4th position. So let me run this and it says 3. If I give 5 here and if I run it, it will say, or it will give an invalid value because there are no elements here, there are no values here. So it gives a random value. Alright. Now, this is about index number. If you want to access any values from an array, we use index number. Now see, this is different and this is different. Okay. When we are trying to access the value of an array, we use index number. That is this. This is while declaring an array. This is to mention how many elements will be there in the array. So when we say 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 elements can be in this array. That is what we are saying. Or 5 elements will be in this array. That is what we are saying. Okay. So this is different. This is different. Okay. Now, it is not required to mention this. You can leave it blank. Alright. The C++ is smart enough to count the values and store it. Alright. So you don't have to mention it explicitly. Okay. Next, let us try changing the values. There are 5 values here. You know how to access the value. So let me change 0, 1, 2, 3, third value. Let me change 11. Let me change 11 to 0. Okay. To do that, once again, we use index number. Okay. So first you have to mention ages, and then inside square brackets, we have to mention the index number of the value that we are trying to change. We are trying to change 11, correct? So it is at 0, 1, 2, 3. It is at 3rd position. So we have to say 3. This basically means the value that is at 3rd index position. Okay. We want to change it to, let us say 0. So this is all you need to do. Ages, square bracket, index number of the value that you are trying to change and the value that you are trying to change to. So from 11, it must be 2. Okay. So here I am saying cout ages 3. I want to print the value that is stored in 3rd index position. So now when I run it, I must get 0 as a result. Okay. So if I change it to 90, I am printing out the same index position. I get 90. Okay. I hope this is clear. Next, we can also declare an empty array like this. Okay. We can declare an empty array like this. And then later we can add elements to it like this. Okay. Like this. So I will say ages 0 equal to 90. And I will print out the value that is stored in 0. Okay. So let me run this and you can see. Alright. So what is the error here? Yeah. So when you create an empty array, you must mention the size. Alright. When you create an empty array, you must mention the size. When you define the values, this is not required. Okay, you can leave it blank. But when you create an empty array, so this is required. Alright. So let me run this and I get 90. Let me add 4. Let me add 4. Let me print Okay, so you can see I get 4. Alright, now let me create an array of strings. Okay, so here let me delete this. Let this be there. I want to show you the difference between an array of integers and array of strings. So here string array starts with string data type name. Okay, string, and let me say names. All right, and inside let me just have 3 because I just want to show you the difference. So here I will say Manoj and Anita and Ravi. Okay, yes. So here let me delete this, not required. Okay, so here let me say names, and I want to access 0, 1, 2 Ravi. Okay, so let me say Ravi. So names 2. All right, so let me run this, and you can see I get an error here. This is because I am creating an array of strings, and you know that strings, wherever they are used, must be enclosed in quotes. So when you create an array to, make sure that you wrap the names or strings in quotes. Okay, so now let me run this, and you can see I get Ravi as result. Okay, even when changing, you have to use quotes. For example, let me change the name Ravi to David. Okay, so I'll say names, and I want to change Ravi, which is at index position 2, and here I will say David. Okay, David. So now you can see I get an error. This is because I'm just using David without any quotes. So this doesn't work with strings. So if you have strings or characters too, as a matter of fact, okay, characters too. So when you have strings, make sure that you wrap them between double quotes. If you have characters, then make sure that it is wrapped in single quotes. Okay. So now when I run it, you see I get David as a result. Alright, so you can see integers do not require double quotes, whereas strings require double quotes and characters require single quotes. Alright, yes, I hope the concept of creating an array, accessing it and changing the values is clear. So go ahead and practice the things that we have learnt in this video. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care and thank you for watching.